this is the gulf of execution. Means that when I was on website, yes, if your website, you have developed your website, the designing is done, the finished product is done, but while making that particular while designing that website, you would be going through a lot of emotions. If the certain functions if the certain functions, they are not working, if you are evaluating your website, um, then you are doing that, your website is in testing phase, and after testing, you came to know that it is the certain functions are not functioning the way you want them to function. Then you would be sad. But when you would be like doing work on those particular functions, then you will go through that testing phase again, and then if they will be functioning properly as like the way you want them to work, then you would be relieved. So this is all about the psychology. It's not about like in everyday life, it's that every day there are certain actions we are performing, we're going through that different behaviors. No, while we are designing a certain product, we go through the same feelings on each step. So this is the gulf of execution. Now evaluation. Um, Evaluation is figuring out what you have just done now. It's about the feedback. Um, what kind of feedback we are getting. It all depends at what are you going to feel. In execution, we are discovering about that certain operation, but in feedback, we are not discovering. We are waiting for the feedback. Okay, when we are figuring, we will figure out that if we are getting the desired feedback or not. um every designer when every designer, all the designers, when they will be making like they would be like designing a certain interface. They always have a conceptual model in their head. They have that conceptual model in their mind, like they have certain they have that thing that our website, our program should work like this. So when the finished product is done, the product has been finished, and they gave the finishing touches and everything is done, and then they are going to check the feedback. And if the feedback is good, then it will give them good feelings. Feedback is bad, then again they will be feeling hopeless, sad. They would be in anxiety, they would be in depression, they would be in, like they would have a lot of feelings. It on the all those thoughts, psychology of human beings depends on that feedback. Scenario. If you have I give you there are many scenarios, but if car parking scenario. Um, if you are going to park a car and you need a space, you need the space for that, then you have to it's a paid parking, and for that you have to pay, and there's a ticket machine close by. You will go to the ticket machine, and then um, in gulf of execution, just think about only the gulf of execution where we are discovering about the thing, about that product, about that action, about the operation, right? We are not thinking about the feedback. We are going through the process. Now, the first thing is form the goal to use a ticket machine to pay for the parking space. Figure out or discover the possible actions on the machine. What are the possible actions? Of course, there's a machine, then you will put your card, coin, or note. There are three ways of payment. You will choose any one of that. Okay, you will think which one, but uh, you whatever is available, you will use that action. Okay, you will put the money in, and the next step would be some sequence of steps. What would be the sequence? When you have entered the coin, then you have to press certain options. You have to go through certain options. You will press those options, and after that, you will get that particular receipt in the next step. But while doing those steps, that the person would be going through the same thing I have been telling you. They would be going through different emotions. If when he's putting the money inside the machine, he would be like, what if I lose my money and I don't get the ticket? And one more, the other thing, the process, when he will be discovering that process, like how I have to use that machine. When they on the window, there will come some options, then he would be thinking about the options. Which option I have to click. So he is discovering the entire process. So this is the gulf of execution. He's going to a process, and he's going to certain he's going to certain emotions as well. Process emotions means the human abilities and the computer abilities. They are going side by side. The computer abilities are the ticket machine is also an application. So it's been programmed. It's been made by a certain programming language, and so it is also a software application that is a computer technology, that is a computer product too. So that computer process and those emotions, they are connected together. So whenever any designer is going to is going to design a certain product, then they have to take care of these things if they want to make a best product. Gulf of evaluation. Now, execution was all about discovering. Evaluation is all about feedback. The second part of activity involves perceiving, interpreting the state for a feedback, like what he wants to achieve by undergoing the gulf of evaluation. The user expects a change in the state of the system caused by the input of their actions. Having perceived this change of state, the next step is the interpretation of the new state of the system by the user. And having interpreted the new state, the last step begins, in which the user evaluates the intended objective and response of the system. Now, it's in simple language. When you are expecting a feedback, before that feedback, you are going to certain process, right? Like in Gulf of execution. But that process changes state. The state of the process keep changing. It keep changing. During the process, there would be a first state, then that state will change into the second state, then you will get a new state until you reach the goal. You are closer to the goal, and then you would be your goal is your feedback. When if you are getting your goal, then it means that the user would be happy and relieved. And if the user is not getting the desired goal from let's say from certain application, right? He want to download something from the certain application. And when the designers, they design that application, they have made that thing, let's say blogs are the certain website web applications, right? There on blogs, there are the attachment sections on which you can attach the files, and there are download section too. You can download those worksheets for free, right? But if a user is unable to download the worksheets, when he's downloading the worksheets, he's getting errors. The user will get annoyed. He wouldn't like it because he don't want to get errors because the designer he just developed that particular website, and he made a promise that it will work. It will work, but when the user is going to use that particular product and it is not working, and whatever he wants, it is not his desire is to take those downloaded his desire is to just get those worksheets, to download those worksheets, but when he is clicking on that, he's getting some errors. Then he would be so much frustrated at that time. So these are the things. If the design, as a designer, if you think as a designer, then you have to think about the behaviors of the users too. That how they will behave if they will find that certain product is not working as promised, and certain function of the certain product is not working as promised. So the designers have to think in that way. So here the gulf of evaluation is it will, there's a certain process, it will change state, it will change the state, then the second state, then the third state, and it will reach to its goal, right? When it will reach the goal, if he will get the intended goal, he will be happy, otherwise he will get annoyed. So for designing an interface, take care of two things: discoverability process and the positive feedback. If there is positive feedback, then it's a win-win position. For the gulf of evaluation, I will give you an example of, let's say you are taking, you went to a coffee shop, or you are in your office, and there is a coffee machine, and you want to take the coffee that from that particular machine, and you press the button. The coffee machine says you have to press the button, you will get the coffee, right? You press the button and you want some, like, you will select that which coffee do you want. Let's say you press latte, and then you just put the cup under that that nozzle, and when you press the button, you are not getting your latte, and now you are getting frustrated. You are getting hopeless, because you are thinking that when I will press this button, I will get the coffee, but the desired thing has not been fulfilled. The machine hasn't given you that feedback that you wanted. And at the same time, if another employee, he or she comes and says that no, you have to wait, when you press the button, after that you have to wait for a while, the machine will get warm up, and then it will start pouring the coffee. But no, the user will change his or her mind, because he just want that when he press the button, he get whatever he wants. It's not, he don't want to wait for that, because it's not instructed over there. It just says press the button. It's not instructed that you have to wait for warm up. So these is the things, like when you are making, a designer is designing a certain application, then they if they have promised a certain feedback, they will get after, like, performing that particular action, then it should be done in the same way, if they want their app or their software to work. Now, crossing the two gulf involves the user asking themselves a series of questions. What are those series of questions? Now, what it said, designers need to make a checklist of 7 stages of actions. When they are designing an interface, designers should think about the users of that interface during designing. Now, scenario is, now let's revisit the car parking scenario. The 7 stages of action are, number 1 is plan, number 2 is specify, perform, number 3, perceive, interpret, and compare. In planning, how can I do it? In specify, what options do I have? In perform, what can I do now? In perceive, what just happened? Interpret, what does it mean? And compare, is this okay? Have I accomplished my goal? Now, scenario is, let's revisit the car parking scenario again. There are 7 stages how it will work. The goal is use the ticket machine to pay for your parking space. Plan, you are plan to understand how to operate. You are planning like you, first of all, you will discover and you will understand that how to operate the ticket machine. Specify, select the actions to enter the car registration number, insert required amount of money and print the ticket. Perform, physically execute the specified action sequence. Perceive, observe the digital display and printed tickets. And interpret, the system has accepted the car details and money. Compare, the printed ticket has led you to your goal, expectations versus goal, if the goal is same. When you are designing an interface, be mindful of your end goal. Okay, if you are not getting your end goal, then it means you have failed, and you have to redesign your particular app or your particular interface. After that, when someone is designing, a designer is designing a certain interface, he or she has to make a checklist, and in which she has to specify the goal and planning for achieving. He first of all he should be thinking about, he or she should be thinking about the goal. This is my goal, and he or she should plan according for that goal, according to the goal. Then they will specify, then perform. They will be performing certain actions, then perceive, interpret, and then compare. These all things should, you make a checklist, and then the programmer will make a note of these all things. Then he will get to know what is his requirements and what is his goal. Then it will be so helpful when he will be making a certain app. The 3 levels of processing. What are the 3 levels of processing? Visceral, now starting at the lowest level, a person can experience calmness or anxiety. For example, someone unfamiliar with the layout of the ticket machine will likely experience apprehension when performing an action and perceiving what they have done. As I told you before, I think so you understood because we went through a lot of detail. When you are using a new interface, or even if I am using a new interface, if I am using a new app, then of course I have to go through uh, all the options, and I first because I'm totally unaware of the layout of that particular app, how it works. So even if I am an IT person, even if I'm an educated person, even if you are an IT person, even if you are educated people, but still when you are using a new product, then you are using a new application, you first of all you have to explore it, then you get to know how it works. So behavior, in the middle level behavior, that one is a visceral, is a lowest level.
Miss,
Yeah,
Miss, can you explain the
visceral.
Yeah, can you explain that again? I couldn't understand it.
Okay. Um, I give you an example of that parking machine. Oh, sorry, that you are like going to park your car. Okay, and let's say you are going to pay. Uh, you need that paid parking. Okay, you are going to pay through machine for very first time, and when you are using that certain machine, you don't know how to use it, you don't know the layout, and then you will be taking a little bit time. At that time, when you will be feeling like, yes, I am understanding the layout, you would be calm and composed. But if you will be feeling like it's so hard, it's so complex, you would be going through a certain anxiety. Okay, then once you will get a grip of that layout, once you will get a grip of that application, once you will get a grip that yes, I can, I know the procedure, I know the process, that how to pay. I have to go to that option, then I have to click here, and I have to enter the money, and then I have to submit, press the submit button. Then once you will get to know all that layout, then you will be relieved. You would be feeling, you would be like in a calm place. Um, uh, let's say if you are using a certain application in your mobile phones, if you are playing a game, right? If for the first time you are playing a game, you are with your friends, all of your friends, they are playing certain game, and they ask you, let's play the game together, but you don't know how to play that, even though you are a gamer, and you have played very hard games, very difficult games, the complex games, but this game is new for you. You don't know how it works. You don't know about the functions, how to use the different functions. So you will be feeling a little bit low at that time. You don't want your friends, you don't want them to know that you have no idea how it works. Then you would be going to like certain behavior, you would be going to certain emotions, and then maybe you get a grip, or maybe you feel anxiety, maybe after a while, 5 minutes, it happens like after 5 or 10 minutes, you you just after exploring that particular application or app, you get to know most of the times that how it works. So those kind of feelings they're talking about when you are using something very first time, and you don't know about the that you are totally unfamiliar with that platform. Behavior, in the middle level behavior, a person expectation will drive emotions, hope, fear, relief, despair. This is also sensitive to specify the task, and simple. When you are starting a certain operation in the start, when in the beginning, you are having visceral, you're that you are processing those feelings, the visceral ones, because it's the beginning of that action. You are just going to use that platform, you are just going to use that machine, you're just going to use that application. The behavioral is when you have used it a little bit, and you are in the middle, you're in the middle of that process. Those kind of, when you now you know that how to use it, but you're in the middle of the process, you're doing that action very first time. Now you don't know the action will be completed or not. And now let's take an example that now you know how to play a game, but when you have started playing a game, when you came to a certain level, you will be feeling like, um, I don't know if I would be able to compete my friends or not, because you are not a pro. You are still a noob. You still will be having that initial feelings. That could be like you feeling hope. Maybe I get through this. You will be fear. Maybe my friends they get to know about that. No, I mean you are in the middle of the process. Then visceral is in the beginning of the process, right? Maybe you get a relief. Maybe you are despair. So these are the number of feelings you are getting. Or, for example, while determining the steps for using a ticket machine, a new user could experience feelings of doubt. But if they interpret positive results from the action, they will experience relief. Of course, when we are getting the positive results, everyone gets the feeling of like they get relieved, a feeling of a relief. So no one likes the negative results. So it's about, maybe he gets positive result, maybe he gets negative result, but he's going through that certain process, but he has to go through. Reflective, people compare their expectations at highest level reflective with what happened. For example, someone follows the correct sequence of actions but then discovers that the ticket machine has errored. This will drive emotions of dissatisfactions, blame, or even anger, right? Uh, on the flip side, however, if someone seamlessly completes their activity, all the steps, then they will likely experience satisfaction or delight. The same thing. If you went through the process And now that was visceral is a beginning of the process. Behavior is the middle of the process. Now reflective, you are close to the goal. And now if you have that you have finished that particular process, and you haven't got your ticket. Let's about talk about that a ticket machine. You haven't got your ticket after following all those steps, after going through the certain emotion, but still at the end you got nothing. Then you would be having emotions of dissatisfaction. You would be blaming those like softwares that they don't work well. And but if you got the ticket, then you will be feeling like it was a piece of cake. Why I was like I was like so I was like so much tense. I was tense about that process. It is just a piece of cake for me. So it depends like what kind when you are going through a process, how the beginning you are feeling different, in the middle you are feeling different, when you are at the end of the process you are feeling different way. Summary: the design of everyday things can teach us many vital principles and the 7 stages of action cycle, which we can use an essential checklist of questions. We can also adopt the action cycle to understand people's cognitive, emotional, and behavior processes during an interaction. And it is this practice that can guide the creation of efficient, effective, delightful things or products or interface or application or softwares, whatever. Now, Norman's 7 principles. We are going to 7 principles. And to assess the interaction between human and computers, Donald Norman proposed 7 principles. He proposed 7 stages that can be used to transform difficult tasks and following into the simplest ones. In following are the 7 principles of Norman. These are those principles when designers they are making a certain product, then they have to follow these. There are other principles too. It's not they are following just Norman principles, but these are very old principles, and still in the IT departments, even Apple, while making iPhone, he is following the Norman's 7 principles. He is following these principles, and they are because when iPhone, when Apple is making an iPhone, of course, they want to interact the people with the iPhone. iPhone is hardware, and inside there's a software, right? There's operating system, there are applications. So these all are application softwares. So now Apple wants the users to get connected, to get familiar with that interface, right? So how to make this thing successful? So he followed like Norman 7 principles. Apple, the company of Apple, they still follow those principles while making iPhone. So these are important principles. Norman 7 principles. Use both knowledge involved and knowledge in the head. Number 1, simplify task structures. Number 3, make things visible. Number 4, get the mapping right. Number 5, convert constraints into advantage. Number 6, design for error. And number 7, when all else fails, standardize. Now, the first, we should talk about, first of all, use both knowledge in the world and knowledge in the head. What it means, knowledge in the world and knowledge in the head. It means that when a designer is going to design a product, design an app, he should think about his users, and he should read the user's mind when he's going to. The first step is to gather the requirements. Of course, when he will get those requirements through surveys and through any means from those particular the targeted users, then he at that time he would get to know that what is in their head. Now he has all the requirements, the required things by the users. Now, what they want for the particular app, like a banking app, what they want in that app, what they want in that particular interface, what kind of operation they want to do. while using that interface, while using that banking app. Now he or she the designer has all that knowledge. um, he gathers all the knowledge of the users, and that knowledge was in their head, but there is also a knowledge in the world. They don't have to gather just the knowledge in the head, they also have to gather the knowledge in the world. Okay, the users, they want these kind of services, but how? The knowledge in the world, there's also a knowledge related to that particular app, related to, like, there are other banking apps too, right? And there are many researches. There are the researchers who did a lot of researches on how to design a banking app, what kind of functions they should introduce, what kind of features they should add. So they shouldn't just get the knowledge from those users. They should also research. They should also get that knowledge from the world, that has been stored in the form of researches, in the form of documents, in the form of books. And they have to use that knowledge too. When the knowledge in the world and knowledge in the head, it comes together, that then after that, he or she can make the perfect interface. Now, let's take an example of traveling through airplane. Okay, many of you, I'm sure that everyone has traveled to airplane. And when you reach the airport, what do you think? What the first thing that comes into your head? You have human beings have a limitation in storing the data, in storing the knowledge in their head. Um, they can store like the normal things that they can store the things they do like every day, the repetitive things. It's very easy to keep track of those kind of thinkings, right? And those kind of thoughts. Now, when I am going to travel to plane, I will go to airport. That all knowledge is in my head, that I have to get the ticket, I have to book a ticket to maybe to their I have to book the ticket to the website. I have to get the boarding pass. I have to do like the baggage check-in. Then after that, there's some security people. There's also a security check, and then they tell us that we get the information from them, that from other employees, that where is the boarding gate, right? Then they give us the number of boarding gate, and we like sit over there, wait for that. Then they do announcements, and then we board the flight, right? These all steps we know already. This is the knowledge in my head. It is a knowledge in your head when you are at the airport. But what is the knowledge in the world too? Okay, this is done, the process is done, but still there's a lot of hustle on the airport, right? um, when okay, they said, okay, your flight is at this time, but sometime it happens the flights, they get delayed. We want to recheck it again and again. How I can recheck it now? This kind of knowledge I don't have anymore. I don't have in my head this kind of knowledge. I need some knowledge in the world now. What is that? There are like um, what we call at the big screens, and the big displays on which they display that this flight will come at this time, and departure time is this, arrival time is this, and this is delayed for 2 hours, delayed for 3 hours, delayed for 30 minutes. This is the knowledge in the world they are telling you. And also there are the signboards. The signboards, they are the let's say want to go to mosque, you want to use the restroom, you want to find your gate, you find the way towards your gate. So they are the signboards, they are helping you. This is the knowledge in the world. The other thing was the knowledge in your head. When those two things, they combine together, then the particular action is done. Likewise, if I talk about that, designing an interface, then you have to gather the information, you have to gather the requirements from those users, as well as you have to do your own research. Do your own research, you get the knowledge that how to design an app and what are the key factors you have to take care of those. So what kind of principles you have to follow. So with that, you can make a perfect app. Simplify the structure of task. This is a simple thing, like when you are designing a certain app, then you have to divide the task. You have to make them. You have to simplify the task. It means you have to divide the task. If you are in a designing phase, then you have to divide that in according to their functions. Like if first of all you will work on the graphics of your website. Once the graphic of website is done, then the second task is you will work on interactive elements. Those are buttons, and just like you are submitting a form, you use a submit button. You are using the text boxes. You are using those scrolling up and down, like scroll bars. Those are interactive elements. The first step, that graphical user interface, you are dividing it. That first I will be the graphics, I will be taking care of the graphics. The second, then I'll be taking care of that interactive elements, and then third, I will be taking care of something else, right? So step by step, and you will simplify the structure of the task. Then if you will go through that kind of hierarchy, you will make that hierarchy, that end product will come good. There would be like less errors, and there would be no chance of errors, because you are taking care of that that particular task. You are like, your head is not on multiple things. Your head is just on a particular one task at one time. Then you will start the second task. So you will follow that hierarchy. Then at the end product would be good. Make things visible. It's simple that um, no one wants something hidden when you are using any application. If something is hidden, then you wouldn't like that. If you are submitting a form, you are applying for the job, you first name, last name, and then you submitted, you have added all the information, you submitted the form, then there should be a feedback that your form has been submitted. That feedback will um, that you are going through that process, and you are looking at the process. Okay, it is clear to you, it is visible to you. So those, when you are sending money to someone else through your banking app, then you can see everything. It's not like something hidden, the functions hidden. No, you can, the step. Okay, get the mapping right. Mapping right means when your website is performing certain action, that action should that there should be a controlling element, and that controlling element should control that particular function. Um, it is just like user intentions should be mapped clearly onto the system control and system events. It is like controlling an object and element. I let's let I I'm gonna give you an example. In your room, I there are 4 or 5 buttons, right? The first button is the mapping is with the light. The second button is mapped with the maybe fan, and third button is for AC. The fourth button is for something else, right? So these buttons have the proper mapping to the proper things. Like if you will switch on the first button, you can't turn on AC, because the mapping is between that button is a control system, and the element is light, right? Now button is controlling the light. When you will turn on the first switch, it will turn on the light, it will not turn on the AC. When you will turn on the second switch, it will turn on the fan. When you will turn on the third, then AC, right? So it is a mapping. It should be mapping should be done correctly. When you're designing an app, you should have a focus on designing too, on mapping too. Now, if I talk about the websites or applications or apps or any interface, um, uh, they are like we are using like scroll bars, sliders we call it, to which we just click with the mouse. We click on that, and then or with the finger, if it's a touch screen, we slide it up and down. Now that is a control system, and the element is a web page. It is a web page or any other if you're using any other application. Then the document, it could be documents too. Then it is moving the document or the web page up and down. The controlling system, the control is your that sliders, your that at the side of the page, that lies at the just at the corner of that page. Then you are moving up. It is uh, then you are moving up and down. You can read that information you want to read. So it is controlling that particular element. Um, Also the navigation system. So when you are navigating from one page to another page, then there is proper control, navigation control, that is helping you to navigate from, let's say you are on a home page and you want to go on the clothing page, web page, the web pages, 4 or 5 web pages, you want to navigate between 4 or 5 web pages, then it will the control, you have a control, the navigation, there's a navigation control. You can navigate to certain pages, you can navigate to the web pages successfully. um, and likewise there are other things too. Use different options on websites and site maps, and there are a lot of things. So this is the mapping. The one once you are working on your app, then you are designing on your app, then you have to do the mapping in a right way. Exploit the power of constraints. Now, constraints is like use constraints so that the user feels as if there is only one possible thing to do, the right thing, and there is no wrong way to go. They while making the websites, while making the application, they use certain constraints that has, and what they do with the constraint by like doing that particular programming for those constraints, the in action, in that particular action, for the action programming, they just put one action, that the right action, only the one action that website, that application can do, and that action is the right action, and they cannot can't do the there's no other wrong action, right? Only one way to go. Those are the constraints. Let's take an example. If um, there's a very like everyday example is, let's say you remove a screw, and when you are removing the screws, there one side is you can remove it and one side is you can make it tight, right? So if there's only one way, you have to choose. There's no choosing power. There you can't choose. There's a constraint. You have to move towards right if you want to take out that particular screw. So you have to turn right. There's not any other way out. So this is the thing, that you have just one action to perform, and that action is a right action. There's no other way. There you don't have any choices. And there are some jigsaw puzzles where pieces gets fit together only in one way. And there are also certain machines, and they have like only they are the one way, that way they will operate. For that kind of constraints, they when the designers they are working on those kind of constraints, they also have that designing drawing with them, and they then also make a guide and help, and they write the guidelines for those kind of constraints too, when on the website or on an application, they give the proper guidelines with that. Design for errors. Design for errors is a simple thing. When you are making any, you are creating or designing any interface, then you have to keep in your mind that uh, there shouldn't be any errors. And if in case you're getting any error, then how to help the users? Because when there would be errors in your design, when there would be errors in your interface, in your application, the users, they will get offended. And if you will not help them, if you will not guide them properly, then let's say a user is filling a form, an admission form, and he got an um, no, let's say he is going to log in a particular website, in a particular application, and he or she just forgot the password. Then when you are forgetting the password, why it says invalid password? In a very polite way, it says invalid password. So that thing, and then it gives a very polite instruction that you can please enter the right one. Then these kind of errors, they are coming from the users, but the designers have to take care of that. They can't say that it's your mistake, it's you made an error and you have to rectify. No, the designer, when they are designing a certain application, they have to check for the errors, that what kind of errors they can get by the wrong entries by the users, and what kind of designing errors when they have their finished product, and its finished product is available for the users. There shouldn't be any errors in that. There shouldn't be any designing errors in that. But if there are, while entering certain, while inputting the in certain data, just like email address, your first name, last name, um, um, while filling a form, sometimes there comes that asterisk. There comes static that these are mandatory fields, you have to fill them, but sometimes you forget to fill them, and you submit the form as it is, then you get an error too. So then the task of the designer is that, yes, you are getting errors, but you have to guide the users at that time how to fix that error, because you cannot expect from the users that they have to memorize certain actions and certain steps to get rid of that particular error. No, there is no you are not going to give them trainings, you are not going to give them any knowledge, and there are no training sessions and educational sessions for that. Your When you are creating any website or no, or interface, it's your responsibility that you have to show, you have to give those pop-up messages. Yes, it is invalid. You forgot to enter your second name. Yeah, then it is an invalid entry. And if the password is wrong, it's invalid entry. If you forgot to enter your last name, it will say that this is the particular entry you forgot to fill in. Then you have to fill in. So these kind of the errors, the designer have to take care. Designer has to take care of those kind of errors when they are designing for a particular app. When all else fails, standardize. Okay. Um, Most of the standardized uh, applications, and they are more successful as compared to the other ones. Um, when a designer making any application that is a standardized application, the functions are standardized. Standardized means they are like same. They're like uh, let's say um, there's a bank ABC. It has that banking app, and it has the function how to transfer the money. Okay, it has a function how to check your account balance, right? And in when you will open another banking app, then you will find the same type of entries in same type of functions in another banking app that you are used to of it. you know how to like do it because it's standardized function. All the apps, they are following the same kind of things. They're following the same kind of procedure, same kind of functions. Then users are used to of it. Now, let's take an example of cars, right? The brakes are same, wheels are same, accelerators are same, steerings are same. Even if you are in GMC or if you are in Corolla, they have the standardized elements in it. They have even the cars are different. There may be the front screen is different, but they have, maybe the GMC has more luxury items in it, but that Corolla don't have. But they are the basic standardized things. Those are like, it has the wheels that work the same way in Corolla like in GMC. The steering it, and when you are like AC, when the knob, you use that particular buttons to turn on AC, turn off AC, and heating, you are maximizing and minimizing the heating. Those things, all the things are standardized. So if someone is trying to like add an extra function, a different and unique function, if doesn't work, then standardize your all the things. That if you are making an app, then you have do research everything. If I am even giving you a lecture, then after lecture, it's not that this is it. No, you have to do your own research. When our professor used to give us lectures, it's not like it's done, everything he provided to me. No, then we have those research work too. We have to do our researches. I used to do research. I used to read a lot of things, and then I used to come to know that. So you have to standardize. If when all else fails, you have to standardize. HCI goals are list of HCI goals, includes develop or improve safety, efficiency, usability, appeal of system. That includes computers. Now, this is the link. I will send you some links, the book links. You should read those books for your own knowledge. Now, course outline. That was the Norman's rule. Now there are Schneiderman's rule. 8 golden rules. Golden rules of heuristic. We are not now going to talk about the Schneiderman's golden rules. Just like that 7 rules, the Schneiderman is another researcher, another designer who has 8 golden rules, and it says that if you want to produce a very nice a better system or an application, then you have to follow these designers rules. And here these rules are almost mixed, like Norman's principles, Schneider rules, Nelson's. Most of the things you will see, those are same, because those time these people were working on that particular designing thing. So the things were almost like they knew that uh, these are the rules and these are the principles through which they can achieve the nice they can design a nice interface. Okay, why Schneiderman's golden rules? He is an American. He was an American computer scientist, consolidated some implicit facts about designing, came up with 8 general guidelines. These guidelines are beneficial for normal designers as well as the interface designers. These are beneficial in experimental assessment of identifying better graphical user interface. Now, there are some companies like not the famous companies, the high-tech companies, Apple, Google, Microsoft. Those are highly successful companies who has like well designed their products by using those rules, Schneiderman's golden rules, and they're also following those Norman's principles too. The characteristics derived from Schneiderman's golden rules can be recognized in various user interface guidelines produced by corporate giants like companies mentioned above. And now these are, number 1 is strive for consistency, number 2 is cater to universal usability, offer informative feedback, design dialogues to yield closure, prevent errors, permit easy reversal of actions, support internal locus of control, and reduce short-term memory load. Right. Now, strive for consistency is like the thing should be same, consistent, same, constant. There are multiple like words that can define the strive for consistency. It says that things should remain constant, like if in different applications there are different functions, and those different how we access those functions, how we use those functions, that the way of usage, the way of accessing them, they should be like same. If you will like if you will make a unique like function, you would like to make a unique feature. Yeah, unique features are good, but maybe that feature will not is not going to get acceptance from the users because they are used to of one thing, of that is consistency when they are using different applications. Now, what is consistency? I give you an example of Instagram. Double tap on the picture, likes the picture. Okay. It's the same on like WhatsApp. WhatsApp, when you're liking someone's when you are liking, you want to like someone's like message, then you click on that, it's thumbs up, yes. Likewise on the Facebook, you can like with a single tap, you can make a like. So but there is a tap, there is a double tap on the picture, like the pictures. The people are used to of tapping when they want to, they praise something, when they want to like something, if of someone's picture, someone's post, then they use the same procedure, they have to tap, and they're used to of it. Scrolling enables seeing the most recent post. Everywhere there's scrolling. If you are on website, if you are on application softwares like Microsoft Suite, in Excel, in MS Word, in spreadsheets, there are scrolling bars. You use those scrolling bars to make it up and down. So um, those are same everywhere. It's not like it's not like if on the website the scrolling bar is different, and on the documents is different, and on another application is different. No, the design is same, the way is same. You have to just hold it and keep it up and down. And view the stories. You can view the stories, and tap and hold on the story, pause it whenever you see, when you get the stories on Instagram, and some stories are so fast you can't see them, then you have to stop it, you have to pause it, then you just tap it, hold, and you can pause it. And in most of this, in even other applications, it is the procedure is same. Can edit the profile. You can edit the profile of Facebook, you can edit the profile of Instagram, but the ways are same how to edit them. So just like I gave you the car example in the previous lecture, that if you want to turn on AC, even it's in the AC is in GMC, even it's the AC in Corolla, but the way of turning on and turning off is same. There could be like luxury items in it, the way is same. You have to maximize or you have to minimize, the ways are totally same. So um, let's take an example of Apple, the iPhones. Let's take an example of another product of Apple, Mac. Okay, what the Macintosh, how Macintosh looks like. The look is same, like it was years and years before. It haven't changed in ages. Like you can see in that menu bar, the file edit view special is still the same. Because they work on consistency. They don't want their users, they get confused. They want the menu bar is the issue. They want it to be the same, that people don't get confused. They are changing certain functions, but they are not changing those bars, the menu bars. Cater to universal usability means that universal usability, that if you are making a certain product and designing a product, it is not for the certain group of people, it's for all kind of people. They could be um, they could be they could be kids, they could be adults, they could be men, they could be women, they could be rich, poor, they could be educated, uneducated, they could be IT people or non-tech people, they could be pro noobs, they could be anyone. And also they have certain disabilities too. So when you are making a certain app, you have to keep in mind that you have to make in as you have to design it in such a way that all kind of people they can use it efficiently, and they don't feel any difficulty while using that particular app. And also you have to introduce certain functions in it that make it more easier, that make it more fast, um, rather than investing a lot of time on using a particular function. They want it to be fast. They want it like it when you're doing a particular function, there should be an alternate way that could make it fast. Just like when you are typing to the keyboard, you are typing, right? But there are also, if you want to copy paste something, let's say, yeah, you have your Word documents. You will go to the file, then click the file, then you will select the copy, then um, you want to paste something on that, and you will select the paste, and then it will get pasted. Likewise, on any other application, um, then you have to click the file. And it is like a long process. Even I don't like to do it. I just Control C and Control V, and that's it. Control X, Control V, cut and paste, Control C, Control V, copy and paste. So you're using the keyboard shortcuts. It is um, increasing the efficiency and of your work. So it should be like cater to universal usability. Offer informative feedback. When you are when you are making a certain application, or you're designing a certain that app, that interface, then when you are you are giving the users a particular option that you can upload the files here, you can download the files here from here, then they should be you should give a informative feedback to them as well. Like informative feedback is, if let's say um I am downloading or uploading something from your from your website. Let's say you made a website, and I am using that website. I'm uploading or downloading something from there. Then what I want as a user, I want that I get that particular informative feedback. Informative feedback want to know that how much it has been uploaded and how much it has been downloaded, because I want to see it. It will give me relief. I want to get to know, and even if the process has initiated or not, like this, look at the picture, 45% has been done, it says, right? Likewise, there is another thing, drag and drop files to upload. If I give that, if I just make that picture, if it's your website, let's say it's your website, and you have designed this particular drag and drop function, but you are not telling them that how to do it. You just made the picture, and you left everything, you left all other things on the user that they will figure it out. No, the users don't have enough time to figure it out. It's your responsibility. It's a responsibility of the designers, that they have to give that information, that how to do it. No one would get to know that I have to drag and then drop it. So they have to write, look, they have written over here, drag and drop files to upload, that they will get to know, they will get an idea that we have to drag it, then I have to drop it. Like a Mac desktop, the Macintosh, they have not only in Mac desktop, only it's on Microsoft too. You will see when you are selecting a particular folder, you're selecting a particular file, then it gets highlighted. Highlighted means, yes, I have selected it. If it's not highlighted, I will be in doubt. Maybe I haven't selected it. Like I want, I want the system to make me sure that I have selected a particular file. So it's a feedback, a visual, we call it a visual feedback. Design dialogues to yield pleasure. Okay. Now, when you are designing an interface, then your interface should have some kind of dialogues with me, with the user too. If I am a user, then I'm using your mobile app or your website or your any other application. Then I want to have the dialogue. I want that dialogue thing with that. What is that dialogue to yield closure means? If you are installing something, if I am installing something, a particular thing on a system, then let's say I'm installing an operating system, right? Then the operating system will not get installed like um, in minutes, and it will means that if I'm not a pro, that I get to know that how to do it, how then I it would know the designers, they have designed a certain that certain platform in such a way that when I am going to install something, then that installation will have the proper guidance with me, like it will say move next. Now check, there would be say like accept, there would be some in the next step, maybe it says accept, and then I have to accept those guidelines, those things, those policies. Then the next step, it will say move next, then at the end it will say finish. So um it is all the guided tour, it's all the guided tour. Like the designer can't expect from the user that they do everything on their own. No, they cannot. They have to make all the things in such a way that we can communicate with the system and system can talk to us. When I am installing a certain thing, the system is talking to me. It says move next, and then it says you have to check. There comes a certain there comes a certain window. It says you have to check these functions and you have to uncheck these functions. They are talking to us. The system is having a dialogue with me. So by following all those steps, then that have been provided to me through the system, I will reach the finish. I will reach that finish step, and I'll click that finish button. Then that operating system will be installed on my system. So this is the design dialogues to yield closure. When you are designing something, then you have to make that kind of interactive application, that kind of like you can say a guided tour that is guiding your users that how to do it, what is the next step, and also a message at the end of the sequence of events gives a feedback, and the closure of the sending SMS, your message has been sent. Okay, when you are sending a message to someone, it says that your message has been sent, and you get to know, yes, I got a certain feedback from the system. So you have to design dialogues to yield closure when you are designing your interface. So now it can help the users to get to know that what's going on, and they should get acknowledged by the systems. If they're sending some SMS, they're sending some emails, then at the end they will get the message that it has been sent. Mac operating system, it has the same, like I told you before, especially in Mac or OS. In Mac OS, if you are installing anything, that then it helps you. It tells you, it gives you instructions step by step, that you have to follow these instructions, and you can then install that particular application on the Mac system. As the user installs software to the Mac operating system, an informative screen shows what step the user is currently at in the installation. Then when you are doing that, the system is also telling you you are at this step and how many steps are left. Prevent errors is the when you are making a certain app or designing an app or application, you have to prevent errors. It's not like correct errors. Before correcting the errors, you have to prevent the errors. Um, it's a bad thing if you are getting the errors and then you are correcting the errors. Rather than the designers, they should work at how to prevent the errors. You know, the prevention is better than cure. The same thing, those people, they are following the designers. They are following those things like. Uh, this is the one. This is the one of the guideline. One of the guidelines he has provided here. So a good interface should be designed to avoid errors as much as possible. Let me give you an example of um, like I gave you just like 10 minutes before. Like if you are signing up for any educational account or for any account, then if you forgot your password, then it will tell you that your password is wrong, invalid password, and you have to enter your password again. But it should tell us in a very polite way. It shouldn't because it's not our mistake. Because the designers should make a should the designers should make that particular design of that app in such a way that um, uh, that he could get no chance of getting errors while the users are using that interface. Like if I am using that particular app, the banking app, there shouldn't be any errors. The designer should make sure that there are no errors. But in case if there are errors, they should have that prevention measures. They should guide their users that what steps they have to do. If they forgot their last name on and they have submitted the form, like gave the example before, then there would be a red flag on the last name that you haven't entered your last name. Please enter the last name because it is a mandatory field. Then we will enter the last field. So these are the things we can follow when we are making our interface designing to prevent the errors. Easy reversal of actions. And this is a very good thing. You feel relieved when you feel like if you have done something wrong, you can undo it. There are some and there are the options everyone knows about: undo and redo options. Undo is reversal of action. You can reverse your action, whatever you have done. If you have done something wrong, by like clicking on undo, you can reverse that action, right? In like Macintosh, when you're installing something, and let's say you have been through phase one, step two, step three, step four, and you reach on step five and you got error on step five, but when you are on that step, then you cannot like go back to the step one because you got error on the step five. No, you have to. There is a process. There is a guideline. There is a solution at the back end that you can resume from that step five rather than going back all the way following that same loop and reaching that step one. So this is a kind of relief. It saves your time, it saves your energy, and the users, they feel like confident. If even if I get an error, it's okay. Sometimes when we are downloading something, let's say we are downloading a certain movie, and uh, then I have closed the system, right? And when I feel like that all that downloaded stuff would be gone and I have to do it again. But if you are using a particular downloader that has that thing that you can resume from the same place where you left, that would be a relief. When you will come back, you will resume from the same place, from the same point, and that can save your time. And these kind of systems are the efficient systems. Sport internal locus of control. You should have control on your system, not the system on you. Like if you can add any events to your calendars, the calendar will let you know that there's that kind of event you on that day. And also there's some messages says that can you close that action? Should I do the updates? Then when you say okay, then you start the updates. So the control is the whole control is in your hand.